Hey guys, it's TFNut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Hasbro Indiana Jones Adventure Series Indiana Jones Professor version from the Last Crusade. Interesting release here since this is part of a newer release of some store exclusives, and then I believe the deluxe Raiders of the Lost Ark Indy. That's just a re-release that has the temple idol stand that this time. This here is more of a regular release figure, yet the side art on the box shows him next to the rest of the Raiders of the Lost Ark wave, which is interesting. Anyway, though, I was interested in picking this one up. I do want to get the Club Obi-Wan Target exclusive version a little bit more than this one, though. But since I can't find that right now, I did want to see if this is more of a worthy substitute or if I will just end up getting that one in the future. This whole series so far, it doesn't have that many figures, but what we are going to get in the future when we get to, the new movie as well as Temple of Doom, stuff looks pretty promising. Hopefully we get some more unique characters and more unique looks for Indy, though. Just kind of are getting this similar looks of either without the jacket on or... Anyway, I'm just kind of digressing at this point. This is a really nice release, at least by looks, though. This packaging here is pretty standard with this line, where it's the windowless packaging, but the overall design of the packaging is fantastic here. We do have a barcode at the very bottom of the box just in case you need it. Here is a 360 of the actual figure here, and it's a pretty decent figure. There's some good things about it, some things I'm not particularly fond of, though, but it is still pretty nice. I don't think it's as nice as the Raiders Indy, but it's still, I feel, worth 25 bucks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a close look at the figure. Even though this figure is not part of a build an artifact wave, we do get an artifact here. The shield here looking really good. I do think some of the paint could be a little bit better. This is supposed to look a little old, like an older, weathered type of metal, I guess. Not entirely sure. But they did add some weathering on this side, as well as the text there. All that actually looks really nice. I don't know what this insignia is, I forget. But that is sculpted in there rather nice as well. It does kind of seem like it's just a little low effort when it comes to the actual paint apps, but I do understand they wanted to leave some gray in here as well. But the actual detailing in the sculpt with the bumps on the shield and then these rivets going on there, that looks good. And then on the inside here, it could look better, but we do have a decent type of wash going on here to make the brown and black blend together as if it's a weathered wood. So I dig that, as well as on the straps here as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you just how easy it is. It actually slips through. You may want to pop the hand off, I guess, but it slips through, on this Indiana Jones's arms really easily. So I dig that a lot. We also have this torch that is made from a bone. You see the bone piece right there. It's just in one color there. And you do have a little bit of brown bleeding into the bone color, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think it will pop up too much when you take photos with it. It is a pretty soft plastic here. It's a bit gummy, so it's not going to break by any means, but if you wanted this to be more sturdy, look at that. It's like a noodle, but I don't really mind it too much here. And then the actual detailing with the flames actually looks pretty good. That we do have a little bit of orange, yellowish paint on the translucent plastic here. This brown does kind of look a little too translucent compared to this, but I understand that it could be a little difficult. And we do have a big brown splotch there. Actually, it probably looks like, I think what they were going for is the whatever this cloth is at this end is probably being torn away from the fire. But it was still a little distracting, but it doesn't look too bad. Last but not least, we have a pretty nicely detailed Grail parcel right here. I forget if it's exactly that. I'm pretty sure it has the notebook of the Grail in there. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. But I remember this slightly in the movie, and we do have a little bit of tiny text in there. It's not very legible at all, but it's cool that they add that a little bit in there. Different stuff going on here that I don't know what this little, my thumbnail is. I don't know what that is, that symbol. But we do have some rope tying around there, as well as some blue there. I don't know what all is going on here, I'm going to be honest with you. But it's a very nice looking parcel piece. It's tied up right there. Some of the paint from the string is not super consistent. It's bleeding onto the actual parcel a bit. But this is a rather nice looking accessory. I'll show off. I can actually show off what it looks like holding the torch in a second. This fits in his hand really easily, and it's a very snug fit, so that's good. And then you want to pry the hands open a little bit here, and he can also hold his torch. So it's really nice that it's really easy to hold all the accessories, and he looks good holding them. I want to do a quick head swap before I take a look at the actual detail of the figure. The Professor Indy head is the exact same as the Club Obi-Wan head, so as you see, it fits pretty well on the Raiders Indy actually. And then I did put the Raiders head on the Professor Indy, as you see here. Skin tones aren't going to exactly match because Raiders Indy, that skin tone is a little bit darker, a little bit more tan, a little bit glossier to make it look dirtier and sweatier. But if you wanted to do some slight painting of the, no hat head on Raiders Indy, you could maybe make it work. It's going to fit on there regardless. And then I did swap out the fists from the Raider Indy on this figure here. The hands are compatible. The team working on this line did mention that in some of their live streams. The hands look a little small here, but they kind of look small on the Raiders Indy as well. So this is the head sculpt we have that I was talking about a second ago. This is a fantastic head sculpt. Again, it's going to come the Club Obi-Wan version. I'm going to bring in an image as best as I can of a high-def image of Crusader Indy just to give you an idea of how this looks compared to Harrison Ford. And I might have said this in the Raiders review. No discredit to the Black Series team, but this is a fantastic Harrison Ford head sculpt. I think it's the best that Hasbro's put out. I don't own the Endor Han Solo, though, so there's that. This is fantastic looking, though. The face printing on here, it's really not bad at all. Maybe in the eyebrows it might look a little fuzzy. Sometimes face printing could be that way, but it's really not that bad. The eyes look really nice. Looks like one slightly raised eyebrow. I don't know if that's just Harrison Ford's face, pretty sure, or if they did that on purpose to give him some expression, but it looks good. They even have the scar on his chin, which is accurate to Harrison Ford himself. I was looking to see if there's any paint on there. I think it's just sculpted, but it's fine. All that is really fantastic. I think maybe it could have a little bit better paint in the hair and maybe a tiny bit better sculpting. The sculpting looks a little less detailed in some areas than others, but that is still a pretty good hair sculpt. I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful for this articulation, but I do think it breaks up the sculpt a little bit, and it does have some gappage here. So that I do kind of wish it was more of a fixed piece, but again, it gives you better range of motion, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. If you remove this blazer here, it will, or really this coat, it will look pretty weird with how all that is done with the engineering there. I do think the wrinkles actually look pretty good on the rest of the suit here. I don't know if I already said this, but you can make this work as a generic suit body with like your Marvel Legends and all that, so that's cool. Wrinkles here. I think there might be, it might be the lighting or there could be some actual paint, but there's a tiny bit of dry, it looks like what would be like a little bit of dry brushing right here. Again, I could be wrong. The actual cuff is done pretty well too. Then we have the trigger hand here. I believe this is the exact same as Raiders Indy. I believe. Yeah, so if you wanted to use this as like a generic suit body or like a suited henchman, it already has a trigger finger sculpted, so that is sick. This hand here, I believe might be the idol holding hand. I could be wrong, but this will be holding the book also, compared to the Raiders Indy. I forgot to mention, I do think that they actually painted the stripes on the shirt pretty well, and when the neck is in a neutral position, I do think the tie looks good. It is a little crooked, but it's whatever. I do like a little bit of wrinkles going on here. It's just mostly molded in this color, though. There really is not much paint going on with the actual suit, unfortunately. A little bit of gray bleeding onto that off-white shirt, the cuff of that shirt, I'll say. The buttons are actually painted pretty nicely. They're not super duper detailed, but they're still painted really nice on this vest here. And then you have that button right there too. There might be you have to look really hard, but there's ever so slightly some splotching in the light blue on the shirt, but it's not super noticeable. Again, it's a little messy on this button too, but it's not that bad with the paint. Pockets right there, a little bit of these like creases or seam lines, whatever these are. Another pocket there. All that looking really good, actually. I don't think there's not. I'm going to move on to the lower torso now, I'm pretty sure. Wrinkles in the crotch area. We do have some pockets sculpted there, too. We even have a big button for some reason. I don't think they're supposed to be that big. But for that back pocket there, actually looking good. They did sculpt the belt in there. I don't think they painted it. Could be wrong. I can't. No, they didn't paint it. So it's going to be mostly covered, but maybe just a little bit of paint would have gone a bit of a way. Maybe not a long way, but it would have been appreciated. We do have this long seam line going all the way down, which it will break up if you know the sculpt if you move it, but it's really not that big of a deal if it breaks up. It goes all the way down here. A little too much gappage for this thigh swivel. Going all the way down. I think it's really not a big deal, but I think that the cuffs of the pants are a little too baggy. They kind of get in the way of ankle articulation, but they still look good. And I think I don't know, I feel like these legs overall are just a little too baggy. I think it just could be how the articulation is engineered, because these knees look huge. But again, it's just mostly, you know, a little bit of a baggier pants is why they're very huge looking. It's kind of like that on, I don't think it's the exact same like sculpt, but it's kind of the same approach with the Raiders Indy. It's actually not as baggy, but yeah, it's just something I noticed as a bit baggy. It's fine though. I think it's supposed to be like that. I believe I'm trying to see if these shoes are the exact same as the Raiders Indy, and if they are, that's fine. Yeah, the way that crease looks, yeah, they are the exact same, and it's fine. They're a different color this time around. These brighter brown look fine. Laces maybe could have been a different color, but I mean the overall shoe sculpt is really good. There really is not much else for me to talk about because there's no treading on the bottom of the feet. But this is a pretty nice detailed figure. I think some things could have been a little bit better. But, you know, again, if you need like a generic suit body, this will definitely work. Articulation for this line is pretty decent in some areas and could be better in others. We do have a ball joint. It's actually a ball peg, you know, the dumbbell joint head. And we do have articulation in the neck going into the torso. So the side to side is really good. Rotation, no problem there. You can rotate the actual neck piece too, which can get all over the place if you're not, you know, repositioning things. That's the down motion. Up motion could be a little better. Yeah, not great. We do have butterfly joints that actually work pretty well. I think a little bit better. I actually don't know, but I feel like it's a tiny bit better on this than the Raiders Indy, but I could be wrong. The arms move out really far, much easier than the shoulders for the Raiders Indy. It goes all the way around here. We have a single joint elbow that gets a little over 90 and it swivels here. And the articulation is a little hindered here, but it is on a ball joint, so you can make it move a little bit. I believe we have a ball jointed waist in here, but it's kind of loose and doesn't want to move or keep it posed because of all the stuff going on here with the soft plastic. But it can swivel just fine. Legs could kick out like that, not really back at all. In and out, not perfect splits, but didn't really need to. Upper thigh swivel, single jointed knee. I wish it was double jointed, but you can see that's about 90. That swivel's there too. We do have a swivel here at the ankle. The down is good. The up is blocked, unfortunately, and then ankle rocker. This is usually the part of the review where I bring out the ruler to measure out the figure, but the box says the size of the figure, which is pretty nice. It's 15.7 centimeters, which is 6.2 inches. As you can see, it's going to be about the same height as the Raiders Indy. It's going to be a little bit taller than Bespin Han Solo from the Black Series line. It can still kind of work with each other, sort of. It is going to be slightly shorter, but still pretty close to scale, actually, with a Marvel Legends Spider-Man. And it's going to be taller than the first ever Black Series Mando. Overall, I think this is a pretty nice figure. Not much different from how it looks compared to what I've seen of the Club Obi-Wan version, though. Again, I don't have that. I think I might like that one a little bit more, not only because of the actual suit looking a little bit better to me, but the actual accessories with that figure looks a little bit better than what we have here. The accessories we do have here are really nice and are nicely detailed, though. Maybe a couple extra hands would have been nice. But this is still a really nice looking figure. We do see Indy more as a professor than in the Club Obi-Wan getup. So there's that, you know, for that purpose. Or you could just use it as a generic suit body to fit in with your 6-inch action figures for toy photography and other reasons. The likeness to Harrison Ford on the head sculpt, I think, is really fantastic. It does have minimal paint in some areas, but what paint is there is rather nice, especially on the accessories again. The articulation is a bit hindered, and some of the proportions look a little blocky on this figure, but I mean, that's just kind of how it looks with a suit body like this, and it's not going to be needing to do crazy poses, so there's that. Overall, I do think it might be a tiny bit steep for 25 bucks, but I do think it comes with a good amount of stuff. And I think it's a nice figure overall to warrant that price point. I'll leave links down in the description below where you can pick up this figure as well. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share them extra friends, follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.